I want to do a quick talk about this amazing book that I'm reading by Marianne Williamson called Return to Love. It's actually based on this book, Principles of the A Course in Miracles. Course in Miracles is an incredible book that's based on the Bible, but it's really more than the Bible. It's just, they use Christ, but to me, it's interchangeable with God. And it's very heavy reading. I have it. It's been on my bookshelf for I don't even know how many years now. I keep picking it up and trying to go through it, and I put it back up. So Farhana actually told me about this. We were talking about the Course in Miracles, and then she said, "A Return to Love" is Marianne Williamson, who basically studied A Course in Miracles, and just dived into it many years ago, and kind of started doing talks on it. And then she wrote this book. So I've finally got the book and I'm reading it. And I want to read, and I'm literally just started it, about not even 40 pages in. And I want to read this quote, this passage that I thought was so powerful. And the passage goes, sometimes people think that calling on God means inviting a force into our lives that will make everything rosy. The truth is, it means inviting everything into our lives that will force us to grow. And growth can be messy. The purpose of life is to grow into our perfection. Once we call on God, everything that could anger us is on its way. It's on the way. Why? Because the place where we go into anger instead of love is our wall. Any situation that pushes our buttons is a situation where we don't yet have the capacity to be unconditionally loving. It's the Holy Spirit's job to draw our attention to that and help us move beyond that point. So, again, I posted this on Facebook. I've shared it with some friends. Hey, Lisbeth. And, this is a book. It's A Return to Love. I know it's up backwards right now. But I want to talk about this because, it's been interesting because some people get it, some people don't get it. And I picked up my son and I was talking to some of these teenagers, and something came up and I had them read this quote and they didn't quite understand it. And I thought, I've had adult friends who have responded back to me and said, this is too complicated. I don't understand what this means. So I thought it would be interesting to talk about what this means. So basically what it's saying is that, when we say we're going to turn things over to God and when we call on God for help, right, we immediately say, okay, God, help me with this problem or help me with my life or help me with whatever. We immediately assume that when we turn things over to God, it's then going to just make life easy because God is going to take care of it. But that doesn't happen. What happens instead is that life actually starts to become more challenging because we are then provided opportunities to learn and grow. So let me give you an example. When we ask, God to show us, to make us more loving, to bring love into our lives, to make us more patient, to make us more humble, to make us more whatever, right? How does that happen? Okay, does God just download this stuff into us? I mean, sure, God is God. He could do that if he wanted to. But, when we ask for these things, we are then presented opportunities to practice these things, right? So I always say, be careful what you wish for, be careful what you're asking. Because when I want to be patient, then how do I just become patient? I don't just become patient because I want to become patient. I become patient by practicing being patient. I become humble by practicing humility. I become strong and loving when I'm faced with adversity, when I'm faced with situations that challenge me, that push me, that make me normally angry, and I have a choice in that situation to then step into being patient, being loving, being humble, being grounded, but those situations are hard situations, right? So when we say, God, give me this or help me do this, then be ready to know that that's going to then bring you difficulties in your life as blessings so that you can then have the opportunity to practice whatever it is that you want, right? Because those are blessings, because ultimately the ultimate form, it's either love or fear. I keep talking about this, right? So the ultimate place to be is to be loving and unconditionally loving and brave. And how do we get there? We get there by practicing forgiveness. If you want to be forgiving and you want to be this wonderful person, then you're going to get an opportunity in life to forgive something or someone that you're really struggling with. And it's going to hurt and it's going to suck and it's going to be painful, but it's in that moment that we make a choice to either be forgiving and step into what we want to be like, God-like, or to go back to our normal patterns and be hateful and whatever the case might be. So, look at, I know that this is a constant evolution process for me, right? So I look at people in my lives who are coming into my lives now, and they are my biggest teachers, right? And so it's the people in our lives, and I truly believe that, right? As difficult as this has been, it's one of the most, challenging lessons for me to internalize. The people in my life who really push my buttons, who really piss me off, they really challenge me, and they irk me. Whether it's, it's the boss that just, drives you nuts, or it's your mother, who's always on you and not being loving and kind, or it's, your so-called ex-best friend or your ex-husband or whoever, right? There's always someone, whether it's your mother-in-law, whether it's your sister, whoever, irrelevant. It's the people in your lives that really, really irritate you, that frustrate you, that challenge you, that brought you, so much pain and rejection, whatever. Those, I believe, are our biggest teachers. And it's those people that really have shown up in our lives and have agreed to play a role in our lives, to be, to be the jerk, whatever, to be the critical person, to be whatever, so that we can then have the opportunity to learn whatever lesson we're supposed to learn and to practice whatever it is we're supposed to practice, to then step into the wholeness of our being. So, be careful before you just, hate or, want to write someone off, or, because those people, these are all karmic agreements. These are all soul agreements that we've made. Truly believe that we've made before incarnating in this lifetime with the loved ones in our lives. And we said, okay, these are the lessons I want to work on, and someone that loved us said, okay, I will play the role of the asshole ex-husband, or I will play the role of the critical mother-in-law, or I will play the role of your, mean whatever, boss or whatever. And we said, okay, thank you. But we forget that those are soul agreements we've agreed to play before incarnating. So we really should be saying thank you to these people in our lives who are our biggest teachers. And honestly, blessing them and praying for them. I know this is very Christ-like or God-like or whatever you want to call it. But, I think praying for our so-called enemies is really the most amazing thing you can do. Pray for the people in our lives that challenge us, that push us, that bring us the most grief. Again, two reasons. One, prayer is powerful. Okay, it's just what our thoughts are powerful. When you put something positive out there in terms of prayer, positivity is going to come right back to you. That's the second reason. Just prayer is powerful. So, we don't understand the bigger game that is going on, which is this life, right? If you've talked to me in any length of a conversation, you know how I feel about this. I do believe in reincarnation. I do believe in past lives. I am aware of many of mine. We had hundreds of past lives. I do believe in soul ages. And if any of you are interested, and it's not something that someone came and whispered in my ear, it's something that I've explored for the last 45 years of my life. It's a journey. It's a process. Of course, reading all these different books has helped, but also, being exposed to different experiences in life, being exposed to different healers, doing past life regression, reading a lot of books, and of course, meditating and prayer has been, what has helped me get to where I am in my belief system. I'm not trying to convert or convince anything, any of you on anything I believe. It doesn't matter to me what you believe. You can say she's completely full of crazy. I don't, fine. You're entitled to your opinion. I just know what I believe, and I just know what the truth is for me, and that's all. And I'm just grateful that we have this beautiful. We're born in a time, and we live in a time where we have the freedom to actually just practice what we want to practice and believe what we want to believe, without any fear of being burnt at the stake or called whatever you want to have it. So in my understanding of life, I do believe that this is just something that karmically my soul is here to learn. I've had many lifetimes. A lot of what I'm struggling with now happens to be a combination of all my experiences since my birth in this lifetime, but also on a deeper level, I'm starting to recognize and realize that a lot of what I'm now struggling with is also stuff that I've dealt with from lifetimes ago. And it's all showing up now for me to resolve and to learn and to finally come to peace with. And I reach out to my people, my healers, my teachers, my therapist. I reach out to people that I go to for therapy and for healing, because we all need help. There's certain things that I can do on myself, and then there's certain things that I need help with. And I'm open to all of that, and it's been a journey. So, anyways, I kind of veered off the topic, but well, no, I didn't. The topic is just be open. Let's not sit and curse these challenges in our life and these people in our life who are so challenging. Instead, let's look at it as opportunities of growth, opportunities to practice love, opportunities to show up as the best self, and always choose to come from a place of love versus fear, because ultimately that's the only two choice you have. You can either come from love or you can come from fear. And like I've said, all positive emotions are love-based, all negative emotions are fear-based, and that's all there is. So anyways, I hope this has been helpful. Please feel free to comment. Feel free to share this video on your feeds. I would love to get the word out there. I'm not sure if you're able to share. Let me know if you're not able to share the video. But as always, thank you for your time. Thank you for your attention, and love and light. And yes, definitely recommend getting A Return to Love if you have not read it. I'm sure I'll do a lot more feeds just on this, because this is like one of those very powerful books, like Conversations with God, book 1, book 2, book 3, but especially book 1 was like life-changing for me when I read it 20 plus years ago. Anyways, lots of love. Take care. God bless. Bye.